I've got nothing. Anyway, I hope you're all feeling refreshed, invigorated for the next session. For those of you who don't know me, if you weren't here previously, I'm Cherise Johnson. I'm the policy lead at Julie's Bicycle. For anyone online who hasn't seen me before, my visual description, I am a Black and Korean woman with big curly afro hair, big clear glasses, and somewhere in my 30s. First up, so I'm hosting you, obviously. The JB team are here to support you. We've got Richard right there. And Kaz is wandering around somewhere. And so if you need anything, just find them. Wave your hand real quick. There you go. Helen. Yeah, raise your hand. Helen. Okay. So first up, we have a showcase from Janet Vaughan at Talking Birds, a Julie's Bicycle Creative Climate Leadership alumni. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. Take it away.
That's cool. You've taken my first thing that I was meant to say. I'm a creative climate leadership alumnus. Yeah, I'm Janet Vaughan. I'm co-artistic director of Talking Birds. I'm a white woman wearing a thrifted jacket and chunky shoes. Kind of imagine an overgrown art student. That's basically what I am. So Talking Birds is essentially a theatre company working with people and place through the lens of access, inclusion, climate conscience. And 2022 is our 30th anniversary of making work. Alongside our own artistic practice, we run a programme of artist support and development, and like many others, we're fighting for the recognition of small organisations as strategic sector leads. We're interested in democracy, in work centred in care and kindness, and bringing people together to find better ways of doing things and gently provoking behaviour change. We're probably best known for our Whale mini theatre on wheels, difference engine, mobile captioning system, our Nest residencies, and our other artist support and development initiatives which are promoting regenerative practice. I have no idea which microphone, whether it's this microphone or that microphone that's working, so apologies for that. But I'm here today to introduce you to our project Art for the People, which we think was the first UK Citizens' Assembly on arts and culture, which we held at about this time last year. So we knew about climate assemblies, and we were really interested in social democracy, and especially the model of citizens' assemblies as a way to work with people we otherwise would not get the chance to talk to, who wouldn't otherwise be involved in such a debate. Because Coventry, where we're based, was City of Culture, there was a lot of consultation fatigue, and we did feel we'd been having the same conversations with the same people for the last 4 years, if not longer. So we wanted to try and cut through that thing of having those same conversations with the usual suspects and to open a dialogue about art with, air quotes, ordinary people, to establish or verify whether art actually matters to people or if it's only artists that say that art matters to people. So in the wake of the pandemic and all the talk of building back better and all that hopeful blossoming of creativity and mutual aid, we were saying, well, if every industry has to play its part in building back better, building a better future, what's the role of art and artists in all of this? So we went for the Citizens' Assembly because it has a really good established way to select people, one of the reasons. And that way is sortition, which is a really expensive process, but it's absolutely brilliant. So we worked with the Sortition Foundation to recruit 50 Coventry people who'd be a representation of the city in miniature. They sent 15,000 letters to random households in Coventry inviting people to take part. And it was made very clear that people would be paid to take part if they were selected. I think that's obviously a really important factor for justice and inclusivity. It's great, and it's also great to get some people who are just doing it for the money and have absolutely no interest in what you're talking about at all, because you get far more authentic and representative conversations. So any respondents to that letter were compared against demographic data on age, gender, ethnicity, disability, education, postcode, I think that's it. And then the selection ensures that the assembly is absolutely representative of the city population at the time. We assembled an oversight group and we worked with Mutual Gain, who are delivery partners, to design the assembly around the question, how will art, culture and creativity shape a better future for Coventry? The 50 selected participants worked together over a 6-week period, initially online, and then the final weekend was in person. We worked really hard to ensure proper access and inclusion. We did things like digital buddying, provision of laptops, dongles, training, in-person buddy for people who'd never used Zoom before, transport, food, etc. for the in-person weekend. And we trained up local creative practitioners as scribes and facilitators for the assembly so that we were developing and keeping the skills in the region. Basically, the established process of a citizens' assembly, which many of you probably know about, it's been honed over years and it just works really well. So in terms of avoiding conflict while allowing people a safe space to express honest opinions, and starts from finding where are the points of consensus, what do people have that they all want to talk about. Absolutely saying that everyone's an expert in something and there's no such thing as a silly question, sort of properly and sensitively facilitated. So our participants got to hear from and question both expert witnesses and their peers. And together we all went on a learning journey before they drew up and voted on a set of recommendations. As the organisation that called the assembly, Talking Birds wasn't allowed to influence the outcomes at all, so we totally had to stand back from everything, a bit like a trial, so we didn't influence anything. And now at this point, I was going to play a film, but I don't know whether that's it on. Oh, good, excellent. We'll go for that then, please.
Came together to answer a call to debate, to create a vision, a mission, a cry.
All ages, races, genders, backgrounds, country people.
Citizens assembled for change. We came together.
50 names of varying fame, 50 histories, not one the same as the other.
50 symphonies waiting to be heard. We came together, we came to learn.
We came together, we zoomed in, talking heads stacked in lines.
A grid of faces from different places, our voices accented, stuttering, shy.
Eager, chattering, wondering why, even with some extended intros.
With dodgy phone lines and technical glitches, can you hear me? Am I on?
We made a real effort to respond to the question, how will arts, culture and creativity shape a better future for Coventry?
We heard evidence brought by a wide range of sources. 20 expert witnesses, some homegrown, some abroad.
Artists, actors, activists, makers, who had broken new ground, who are movers and shakers.
And yet we challenged their views, we didn't hold back. In fact, we called out things not spoken before.
Remember, there's no such thing as a question that's wrong. So in breakout rooms, we ranted and roared.
And broke up agendas unfit for our needs. And broke up the rule book on how things should be.
And chose to start dreaming again. We closed our eyes and saw Coventry.
Green, chock-a-block with parks and spaces. People of all ages walking through a city.
Unsplit by racial divisions, isms, and a ring road. A city with celebration at its heart.
Where everyone can play their part, where everyone's art counts for something.
With stages year-round on derelict ground, on the outskirts, moving performances from CV1 to 6.
We saw possibilities and policies, so healthy buildings were now music hubs.
And parties were compulsory, and open mics raised mental health.
So mental wealth could flourish as jubilee indeed.
We brought our ideas and our hopes to the table and voted on them, adding notes for our choice. When strongly supported, they became recommendations, having 80% of the citizens vote. So hear our voice.
and proved that the Citizens' Assembly process really works. Of the 18 recommendations made by our Citizens' Assembly, 9 of those recommendations gained the 80% threshold of being voted on by the Assembly members, although nothing got lower than the 70% of the Assembly voting on it. So in work with the citizens afterwards, we've amalgamated similar recommendations and ended up with just 9 really strong recommendations, representing a beautifully inclusive, forward-facing, green and engaged vision for the city. You can read them online. So, of course, it's pointless to come up with recommendations and then go nowhere with them. So one thing we did was to give them to the Culture Compact, and some parts were included in Coventry's Cultural Strategy Refresh consultation. And, but in a way, more importantly, when shaping the project, we'd included resourcing 3 pilot projects to test out or advance the recommendations without knowing what the recommendations were going to be. And in the end, they were so much bigger, better and more entwined and amazing than we expected. We decided that we should try and advance all of them. So we're beginning by pulling together people or organisations in the city who are already involved in similar work to try and make all these things happen. And so kind of meaning potentially that this could have a far larger impact over a much longer time. And we're working with a smaller group of citizens to take this all forwards, and they're all folded into our future programming, so we're in it for the long haul. So I'm just going to rattle through learning from this. People are amazing. We knew this, but it was a great reminder. Social and environmental justice are far more important to people than we are led to believe. If people have the opportunity and time to learn about something and feel that they know about it, they'll make really good decisions and will feel a real responsibility to do it well on behalf of the people they're representing. We can't and shouldn't expect people to be able to take part in this kind of thing for free, not if we want to reach a wide range of people. People need to know they're valued and be paid for their time. It's always sobering to see how many people are really living on the edge, how much support some people need, and how transformative a rich experience like this can be. It's really hard to rebuild momentum if there's a purposeful or unexpected pause in contact. We had Christmas and then chasing the council, which meant we had quite a big gap after the Citizens' Assembly, so we spent a lot of time this year carefully reconnecting with people. And on that, the best way of contacting people is definitely by post. That's me.